welcome everyone to today's session. I would like to first thank you all for participating and for contributing to the feedback survey that has been very helpful as we continue to program the Aging and the Art series within the Humanities and Health. We are halfway through this program and we are very excited to have today's session. This session will be on the floor today. Andy will explain a bit more. We'll give you a few moments to go and get something to put your head on, as it will be a floor movement. As always, the sessions will be recorded and we will send those out. They are located on the University of Arizona Health Sciences YouTube page. And we will send that link out once we are finished and have edited the session. Thank you again for participating, and I will leave it to Andy.
Thanks, Julia. Welcome, everybody. And as always, Julia. And as always, if you want to post questions to the chat, I'll answer them. And I've been getting some answers by email through Julia. That's fine too. Okay, so I'd like you to start on your feet. We're going to do more or less what's called a standing scan. So mostly we've been lying down for a scan. And today is on posture and balance. And I'm going to continue this notion of posture and balance for the next 2 sessions. I use the word posture because everybody uses the word posture. People will tell me all the time, my posture is bad. But posture suggests that there is a position, a fixed position, in which we should be in. And that is really antithetical to Feldenkrais. What we're looking for is freedom and ease in balance. So let's talk about balance, and less about position and more about balance. With the hands free, balance, a good balance over, or a healthy balance over your feet means that you're easily carrying your weight over your center. And your center is just below your belly button, somewhere there. But essentially, balance is freedom. It's freedom to move. So standing still, like you think you're doing right now, is not still. Notice that. So notice all the things that are moving in you right now. Your breath is moving. And in really subtle ways, your torso is moving. Maybe your feet, the pressure on your feet, maybe you can feel that the pressure on your feet is moving just a little bit. Now, it is possible, and for military people, it's possible to actually rigidify yourself, but you're still in motion. But to sort of sway less, or... So today's lesson is really mostly on the floor, but we'll come back to standing. And it's mostly on the floor because really healthy balance or free balance means beginning to look above that center. One of the features of it is to look above it for where am I fixed and where am I moving? And can I have flexibility? So what's above, just below my belly button? Your belly, all of the muscles of your belly, your ribs, and most of your spine, and your head, and your shoulders. And your arms are carried there. So that's a lot of you, right? So now just take a little walk just around your mat, and notice above your belly button what feels easy to move or in motion, and what feels a little stiff or like it's not moving. You can measure this from where the breath is going. Breath really, I often say breath will go where it's invited. So it'll go into the whole torso, really, including to the bottom of the pelvis, if it's invited there, if there's freedom. Now what we're doing now is scanning to say, how is my walking going to change in the next 45 minutes through the lesson? And then go back to standing. And again, close your eyes this time and notice this little dance your body is doing to stay upright. In some movement forms, dance forms that are really taught, one is called contact improvisation, and there's some others. Tai Chi, I think, teaches this, and Aikido. It's called the small dance, the small dance. And what it is that your body is constantly on its own, your whole self is shifting in order to keep yourself upright. Without knowing this, you have learned, all of us have learned to brace ourselves in somewhere or another. Often that place is the back of the knees, which results in the hips bracing, which results in the belly bracing, which results, it just keeps going. The whole self is connected here. So just feel that little dance of motion. And this is an important thing to begin to feel throughout understanding walking and understanding how balance is, what shall we say, constructed in your whole self. Balance is also a habit of mind. So if you're in an inner way, flinching toward things, you tend to rigidify your structure. If you're anxious, you tend to rigidify through your belly and chest and hips. So you might also notice some habits of mind. All right, lie down on your back, please. And you can lie flat on the floor and then just keep your pillow handy. And we'll do a very brief scan here with the legs long. And notice, how does the back of your chest feel? So the ribs and back. Notice how the shoulders are meeting the floor. This is a difficult lesson for me to teach with someone sitting. So I'm going to have someone lying. But you'll see most of it is in a sitting position. It's just lying down on the floor. So it's in this position, but it's lying on the floor. So I'm going to ask if you can get on the floor. And if you want to sit, you can do this, but it's going to be a little challenging to figure it out, maybe. Before I give you the first step of the lesson, there is no need to complete what I'm asking you to do today. I will say that probably over and over again. So if I say the shoulder blade bounces off the floor, your shoulder blade might not even touch the floor. It's not the point to force your shoulder blade. Go small and slow. So move yourself to your right side, put the pillow under your head, and fold your legs so that the tops of your thighs are basically at a right angle to your spine. And take the top leg, your left leg, and put it in front on the floor. Yep, put the knee in front of the other knee so that the knee is lying on the floor. There you go. Extend the right arm so the palm is facing the ceiling. We've done this part before. Yep, back up. You might want to move. Yeah, back. And take the left palm and put it on the right palm and reach away from you. So it's sliding. Reach just with the left hand. And notice, try to initiate this movement from the left shoulder blade. And slowly and small at first. Becca, you're going to need more room. Very slow and small at first. And notice, from where am I moving? Where am I initiating this movement? And feel that left shoulder blade is sliding. It's more or less unfixing itself. And your chest is beginning to point, your breastbone, your sternum is beginning to point toward the ground. If you allow it. And back. And notice the ribs on the floor have to adjust themselves. So it's like the ribs on the floor begin to spread out to allow this motion to happen. The ribs on top are also... Test. I lost it. Okay. The ribs on top are also spreading out. And keep going. See how far, comfortably, that is easy to move so that, and your head might begin to turn toward the floor. The hips and knees stay more or less still, but not braced. Put your attention into your ribs. And notice, this is a complicated rib action. As you do this, your ribs are sliding away from your spine in some places. They're making more space vertically in you, toward your head. They're sliding in like a three-dimensional direction. Take just a brief rest where you are, with the hands just like that. And now, take the left palm and place it on the floor near your sternum, near your chest, comfortably. So essentially stand the hand comfortably, so just a few inches from your chest. And by using the floor, slide the left knee forward. So you're going to press into the floor with your hand. You'll figure it out. Slide it forward and backward. So forward, away from you, not up toward your head, but forward. Yep. Now notice from where you're starting this. Now, for some, your foot might be getting in the way because your foot's held, or your toes might be dragging on the floor in a strange way. Try not to hold those toes onto the floor. Try to simply slide the knee forward and back. And notice, from where am I starting this movement? Forward and back. Very simply, very easily. And extend the leg that's on the floor, the right leg, straight down. Let the right leg go straight and the left leg be at a right angle, and slide it forward on the floor. Beautiful. And begin to pay attention. For some of you, the front of your pelvis is getting, much closer to the floor. The trajectory, the range of movement here is really not important. Sliding forward and back. Do 2 more and then rest on your back. And when you rest on your back, take the pillow out from under your head. And lengthen your knees. And now feel the back of your chest, the back of your ribs, behind the shoulder blades. And feel the shoulder blades. And notice, is there anything different? Throughout the ribs and back. Throughout the chest. And feel the difference side to side. This lesson really is beginning to wake up awareness in the spine, chest, and shoulder blades. And it's also organizing the whole self so that the head, you begin to see that the head has a relationship, a constant relationship with those areas and more. Turn to your other side, your left side. Put the right knee in front at a right angle. Lay it on the floor. This might be harder, it might be easier. You can use the pillow under your head if you'd like. Right knee in front. Top knee is in front. Right knee is in front of the left knee. Virginia. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So let the left leg go long now. Put the left palm out in front of you, facing the ceiling. Left palm. The one that's on, yep. Put the right palm on the left palm. And now slide that right hand forward, initiating the action from the shoulder blade. Feel, I'm really only trying to move my shoulder blade. And look at that, my whole arm is moving. The arm is more or less straight. The elbow's not really bent, but it's not locked. The head can follow. And as you move, you'll begin to feel that your chest, the center of your chest, is arcing or moving toward the ground. It is so not important that it touches the ground. But notice how far you're able to go, because throughout the lesson, you are very likely to be able to go further than this. Notice the ribs spreading out as they meet the floor. Feldenkrais talks about this as a mirror image on the floor. And I'm not going to quote from him because I don't want to go and read the lesson. But he talks in this lesson on the tape about as we age, we begin to stiffen in our ribs. And he says, healthy aging is a youthful rib cage. He says young people are closer to life in their rib cage. And then he talks about, in a very strange way, he talks about death, but he talks about it about the rib cage stopping its movement. And then there's some vitality in the ability to move one's ribs. I kind of love that. It's a little bit morbid. Which is probably why I didn't want to read it to you. But gaining some vitality in one's ribcage and spine is vitality. It's life force, and you can move. Stand the right hand near the chest. Probably on the yep. Mm-hmm. And slide the right knee forward and back by pushing on the floor. And now you're moving the pelvis toward the floor, and you're moving the ribs from an entirely different direction. And you might begin to notice that for some of you, the front of your pelvis, even the pubic bone is coming very close to the floor. Slow, 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 small. This is a lesson where, as we go through it, going too fast, too far in this one will actually cause you pain or injury. So really trust me on this. Don't go far. Let your body tell you where to stop. If you go slow and measure your pain or measure the comfort of it, you will be just fine. If it hurts, do less. A lot less. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about next week, which is a habit of mind. Back and forth. with an attention not to how far the knee is going or how far the hips are descending, but to the ribs. The ability for the ribs and the shoulder blades to release, to allow this movement to happen. Two more, and then lie on your back and rest. And again, notice, how do you feel differently, particularly in the back of the ribs? How are you lying differently on the floor? Maybe your shoulder blades feel different as well. Lie on your right side. You know the position now. And put the right arm on the floor and the left arm on top of it. Not the left arm standing, but the left arm on top. Do a few slides. Slide that left arm forward just a little bit, just to remind, what does it feel like for that shoulder blade to move, for the left shoulder blade to move? Okay, so now listen very carefully. Lift and look at your left hand as you move it toward the ceiling with a straight arm. Look at it. So your head's going to follow it. That's it. Great. Now, when it's straight up to the ceiling, let the wrist be soft, supple. And now, from the shoulder blade in this position, from the shoulder blade, not the fingers, lift your hand toward the ceiling. Slowly, very small. And feel, what I'm asking you to do is to move your left shoulder blade toward the ceiling and away from the floor, and then let it fall back toward the floor. So you can allow gravity to work here. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Little movements. Now, connect the chin to the left shoulder. So a little more organization between the neck and the shoulder. Mm-hmm. And take the other hand, the one that's on the floor, and put it between your legs and grab your knee, the bottom of your knee, the back of your knee, really. And hold it there. So you're between the legs and grab the underneath your knee. There you go. And now do it again. Lift the arm and lower it. And lift it and lower it. Very small. There's no power necessary. In fact, the more free you allow this to rise, the more free the falling will be in the shoulder blade. Okay, now, while still holding the knee, turn the head, allow the shoulder blade, the left shoulder blade, to extend toward the floor. So you're going to turn a little bit. You're going to turn, with the arm still going up, but you're going to turn the top of your torso toward the floor. Yep. Your head can turn too. It's not gonna, he's gonna tell you to bang the left shoulder blade on the floor, but most people can't do that when you first start this. So now, in very slow, small movements, reach toward the ceiling in this position, and I'm gonna say bang on the floor, but the floor would have to rise several inches for me to be able to, at this point, bang on the floor. So you can see that Jenny's almost here banging on the floor, right? Is it touching the floor yet? Not quite. And Virginia's almost there, and Ron's almost there, just like 2 inches away. And actually, Becca's almost there too. It doesn't matter. It's just a sensation once that shoulder blade can come back to the floor. It's a sensation of, oh, there it is. I can meet the floor. So now let go of the knee, and even if the leg has to rise, drop the shoulder blade to the floor, if it will go there. If it's uncomfortable, no, just the shoulder blade, not the arm. So even if the knee has to rise off the floor, now bang the shoulder blade on the floor, but slow. So you can see Ron's knee came up, but now his shoulder blade can meet the floor. And now I mean this. Take this really seriously. I'm going to ask you to do it faster, but don't do it aggressively. This is really where you could injure your tendons or your muscles or whatever. Bang it a little faster on the floor. Just let it rise and fall. And what he's asking you to do here is to begin to go, it's a quite natural movement to allow your shoulder blade to go to the floor. You might have to go smaller to allow it to go to bang faster. Even tiny, 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 just bang it on the floor. Okay, now, let your shoulder blade rest low toward the floor, and in your hands still up, your wrist still gentle. Okay. Now, this is the thing that Feldenkrais often asks us to do, and I have not taught it to you yet. But don't worry about the breath here, because the breath can go wherever. If you use the breath here to do this, it's fine. I'd rather you not hold the breath, but don't worry about the direction of the breath. Push the bottom of your belly out. Really extend it. And then pull your belly back and push your chest out. And then it's a seesaw from the belly to the chest. Then push the belly out, then push the chest out. And push the belly out, and push the chest out. For me, this felt really, really, really awkward, like uncoordinated. Do you all who are doing it here have any questions about this? He says push it out with force. Be careful with that. I don't want you to get injured, but push the belly out. Really, you have to arch the back to push the belly. And then push the chest. And then push the belly. And then push the chest. It's a seesaw motion in your spine. Now do that a tiny bit faster. Belly, chest. Belly, chest. Even if it's like super uncoordinated. No one's looking at you. I can't see you. It's not true. I'm looking at you guys. But I'm not judging you. All right, now let that go and bang the left shoulder blade off the floor again. is it a little better? It's a little easier. I can see that for a lot of you it's easier, yeah? Now, that's interesting. That the up and down motion of your chest and your belly would allow your shoulders to extend more. The freedom up and down. Lie on your back and rest. Any questions yet, Julia? Okay, good. It's possible that your shoulder blades and your chest and the ribs and back are distributing things a little more. That you're trying to figure out, how do I lay down now? Now lie on your left side. Right knee in front of the left knee. Left leg extended long. Left palm to the sky. Right knee in front of the left. That's it. And do a couple of reaches here. Just to remember it. Easy, 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 easy. Yeah. And now, while looking at your hand, raise your right hand to the ceiling. Wrist is soft. And reach toward the ceiling using your shoulder blade. Up and down, slow. Up and down. And this probably feels different on this side. For one reason, we didn't do this side yet. But for another, we're organized differently one side to another. Soft wrist helps. Feel what is organizing itself in my ribs and my chest that can allow this to happen. Left hand under the right knee and hold it. Now lift and raise and lower a few times here. Wrist soft. That's it. And now with that hand still under the knee, let that right shoulder blade move back toward the floor. Feldenkrais says here, bounce it off the floor. But it's likely here that it's not going to meet the floor. But you know we're going to bounce it off the floor. Slow. And don't reach for the floor. Again, you really are at a limit here where you would become sore either today or tomorrow. And I really, truly do not want that. He says here, pin the chin to the shoulder. So that's just you're doing it basically, but that's just organizing the head so that it is moving along with the rest of the spine and not inhibiting this shoulder. Now, let go of the knee and allow that shoulder to drop, even if the knee has to come off the floor a little bit. And now, bounce that right shoulder blade off the floor. If it doesn't touch the floor, then just imagine that it's bouncing off the floor. It's a nice sensation to have something there, but even if your coat or your pillow is there, that's fine. It really doesn't matter how far you're able to go on this. It does not matter. Bounce it a little faster. Being gentle and careful. Tap, 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 like a woodpecker. And now with the shoulder blade low on the floor, expand the belly. Get big in your belly. Forward, big. And then expand, and then reverse and expand the chest. He says fill the chest. That means breathe into the chest to me, but again, I don't care where your breath is going here for today. I do care that you're not holding it, though. Do that again and again. Fill the belly, fill the chest. It's a seesaw motion. Belly, chest, belly, chest. Belly, chest. Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations for those that have shoulder issues?
Oh, yeah. If you have shoulder issues, do the range and the angle that your shoulder can tolerate. So if you have a frozen shoulder, you're not even going to be able to reach the ceiling because that's more or less over your head. So just do it with the, I'll show, Becca, can I touch your hand? Sure. Just do it like, even if it has to be bent, just do it like this. And if the shoulder blade isn't moving, do it so small. Even the sort of intention or thought of moving is enough here. Just the tiniest bit. Tiny, tiny, tiny. But only do the range you can do. So if you have a rotator injury, you're going to have trouble with this. If you have a frozen shoulder or a locked shoulder, you're going to have trouble with this. So just do, you can even do an angle that's even almost like this far and reaching like this. So this would be the ceiling. Like, right? See your head moving? It's the same thing. Okay, so now at the end of moving your chest and your belly, bang the shoulder blade off the floor a few more times. So weird, isn't it? That extension of the chest and the belly. Lie on your back and rest would change the way your shoulder can organize itself on the floor. All right, now those with shoulder issues, this next part, this last part of the lesson, is going to be a little more challenging. So if you can't get them both up in the air, just do what you can to the point. Like, there's just no point. Nobody's watching you. There's no gold stars awarded. There's no, like, donut at the end that I will give you because, oh, you stretched yourself and forced yourself into a position. Forget it. Being a good student and pleasing a teacher might be encoded in you, but it's not as important as your comfort and well-being. I know I certainly have that trying to be a good student in me. Roll onto your right side. Extend the arms. Extend the right knee in front of the left, as we have been doing. Sorry, left knee in front of the right. Yep, sorry. Now, take the left hand and reach it toward the ceiling, toward the sky. Do a few lift and lowers. And now, even if your knee has to come off the floor a little bit, take the right hand and reach it up parallel, not touching, but parallel. Okay, so there's going to be a difference in the right and the left here. And now, bang the right shoulder blade. It can't go far, but raise and lower the right shoulder blade off the floor here. Be careful with this. You're really extended. And now after a few of those, trade, I'll do a little seesaw where you extend your right arm, your right shoulder blade, and then extend your left shoulder blade. So you're rocking back and forth. Yeah, that's it. Jenny has it here easily to see. Yep. Do that a little faster. Now, take with your left hand, take the right palm, grab it, and lift it with your left hand away from the floor. So you're actually lifting your right shoulder blade off the floor. Just slowly and small. Do that small a few times. And let that go and go back to parallel. And now do some of the trading off, left and right. Lifting, lifting, lifting. Okay, now in the smallest way possible, let that go just with your hands just like this. Extend your belly and then extend your chest. Small, small, small. You're really constricted in how much you can do this right now. That's it. And if you want to, you can do the trading left and right while you're doing that, expanding the belly and chest. That might be too many things to organize in your body, so you could just let the belly expansion go and left and right. Let the right hand fall back to the floor, right arm. And the left arm, lift it, so lift the shoulder blade up and see if anything's changed here. And down, and up, and down. And you see you're almost there on the floor now, with your leg down. Yep. You feel a little improvement there? Yeah. Rest on your back. Roll over to your left side. Extend the left palm toward the sky. Extend the left arm away from you. Right knee in front of the left. On the floor. Reach the right palm, right hand up. Reach it up toward the sky and look at it. Do a few raises and lowers of that right arm, shoulder. Slow, small. And then reach the left hand up, parallel. And now, he says, bang the left shoulder blade off the floor. It seems impossible to do, right? Because it's so small. So don't make it big. Maybe it's not even big enough to slide a piece of paper under there. It's okay. And then trade. Some left rising, some right rising. Left and then right. Left and right. Go slow. What you're organizing here is not really the shoulder blades, it's the chest it's the ribs that allows the shoulder blades to do this. So don't force your shoulders. Your shoulders are really deeply and intimately connected with your chest. So think lower in your ribs, think around your ribs at the top. That's it. And then take the right hand and lift, put the palm on and lift the left shoulder blade. Grab the palm and lift. And let it drop and lift. And let it drop and lift. That's it. And now go back to parallel and extend your belly and extend your chest. This is that rocking motion, that very strange rocking motion. It can get to feel confusing, like where am I moving? Extend your belly, get big and fat in your belly. And then get big in your chest. And then do a few trade-offs, either while you're doing that chest-belly motion, trade-offs of the hands, left, right, left, right, left, right. Let it go. Let the left arm drop to the floor. And now, bounce the right shoulder blade off the floor. Or close to the floor. Rest on your back. Notice if anything's different in your lying of your back of your ribs, your chest, your shoulder blades. And let's just go back to the first thing we did in the lesson, which is roll onto your right side with the top knee in front on the floor. Extend the hand and slide it and see if that's any different. Just a little test here. Is it any different? And then let your stand your hand and move your knee forward and back. Is that any different? Yeah. And slowly roll to the other side. Extend the top knee in front of the bottom knee. And test this. Reach the right hand. And just notice, my ribs are organizing differently maybe. And then stand the hand in front of your chest and reach the knee forward. That's it. Roll onto your back. And in positions where we've done a certain kind of extension, Feldenkrais often does this at the end, pull your knees toward your belly or your chest. You can even take your knees if you want. Yep. And lift your head up toward your knees. Now you can also fold your fingers behind your head if that's easier. And just let yourself sink into this position for just a moment. Even if you let your head go, just sink into this position. And then roll off to one side or the other. And come to standing, and we'll end this lesson with a standing scan and a bit of walking. So we'll end it with a small dance again. If you be gentle with yourself, you might have a rush of blood. And now I'm going to ask you, as I often do, those of you four here in the class, is there anything different in the way you're standing or moving or the sensation of standing right now, your balance?
More alignment.
What does that mean? More alignment, she said.
I guess evenness.
She said more evenness. Mm-hmm.
My lower back isn't as curved.
Jenny says her lower back isn't as curved. Does anyone feel that their shoulder blades are in a different position relative to gravity or your spine? Take a walk around and feel your balance. And feel free to name what you feel in walking. More springy. Mm-hmm. Like where do you feel that?
In my feet, lower
Mm-hmm. Now, that's really interesting. And that often happens to me when I work with the chest. She says she feels more springy in her feet, but we weren't working on the lower legs at all. We were working here. That is consistently happens in Feldenkrais work, is that you take a thing that really changes the orientation of your ribs, and suddenly your feet feel springier. So I'm going to say a few more things because today is about posture and balance, really. Balance is a question of easy movement around your center, through your center. So if I say go to your center, first of all, you might not know what that even is, or feels like. I'm not sure I could just go to my center. But we're always moving through our center. And this is where judo and tai chi and aikido, they all come into play, because what they're teaching you is, how do I, in very subtle ways, take the energy and move with it, rather than bracing against it. It's constant moving with it. This is why a judo master, if you came at me, Becca, and I could easily, as a judo master, redirect that energy. As a master, I couldn't do it. Up over me and to the floor, and my breath would barely change, because it would take almost no effort. That is a moving around one's center. So when you're walking, notice that you're flexibly moving around your center, or even when you're sitting. When you change your orientation to gravity off of your feet and onto your sitting bones, you still have a center, right? You still can flexibly move around it. But if you brace yourself into one position, you're going to have trouble being flexible. And if that ability to move around one's center decreases, you end up having a feeling of like exhaustion for bracing, and of a kind of rigidity and smallness of yourself. You want to feel wide and large so that you could go in any direction at any time without any effort. And the ribs are an enormous part of that. And when you're walking, the freedom of the shoulder blades and the ribs are a big part of that. Julia, I'll invite any other questions. We have 4 minutes left.
No questions at the moment.
Do you all have any questions here in the class? So let me say one more thing about the feet. Even if this is not your tendency, take your knees and lock them. Now, for you, that's already there. What? It's your tendency, right? So lock your knees and feel that ability to move around your center. Okay, it's a little like jagged and small. Now, if you simply soften the knees, don't bend the knees, just soften the knees so that they can move, notice how your breath changes, for one thing. But for another thing, do you see how your movement around your center begins to become more fluid, easier? I'm not really going to talk about the position of the pelvis and the feet today at all, but that has a lot to do with how you move around your center on your feet. Next week is about habits of mind, and we will still be working with movement. It's not a psychological lesson where I sit and talk to you and ask you what you're thinking or feeling. But you will be asking yourself what you're thinking and feeling. Okay? See you next week.